Welcome to Zunda channel. My name is Jackson. Zunda is a YouTube channel where our guests share their success experiences, what we call the Zunda moment. If you have achieved academic success, professional success, business success, charity, or you have a successful marriage, and as a couple, you're willing to share your success journey with us, please send us an email at zundachannel@gmail.com. zundachannel@gmail.com. We believe your success story is so powerful and can help somebody, particularly young people who we work with. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that we can notify you. Right on the below here, there's a button. Click on it, please, or tap on it so that we can notify you when your new videos are available. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for today's guests. A very successful professional lady. She's a mother, she's a wife, and she's a career woman who is actually a lecturer at the University of Glasgow Caledonian University in Scotland. Dr. Valentah, welcome to Zunda channel.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad actually that you accepted to take part in this program that we are doing for the young people who are underprivileged, So to begin with the way the program ran, about your childhood, Dr. Valentah.
Well, I'm the oldest in a family of 4. I have 3 siblings, 2 sisters and a brother. I was born in Zambia and I was raised in Zambia and studied in Zambia. Both my parents passed away when I was quite young. My mother died when I was 8 and my dad died when I was 16. And I was raised by my uncle who took very good care of myself and my sisters. So I went through high school and primary school and university at undergraduate level in Zambia at the Copperbelt University of Zambia.
Okay. Right. So you did your, what did you specialize in at the university when you went to university in the Copperbelt University in Zambia?
I studied quantity surveying at the Copperbelt University of Zambia.
Right. Okay. So looking at the quantity surveying, it's quite a field that is predominantly, mainly, featuring a lot of men. How did you find it when you were actually studying it in the group of, these gentlemen around you?
It wasn't easy. There are times when you do need to prove yourself a lot more. I think as a woman, I found that I needed to gain the confidence of my colleagues by showing what I was capable of, and perhaps the bars were a bit higher for me to be able to jump. But I think with determination and hard work, I was able to prove myself and my capability in my field of operation.
Right. Okay. So if you can take me through briefly, how did you actually decide to go and study quantity surveying at the university under your undergraduate degree?
I think this is an interesting story in a sense. I never intended to study quantity surveying. I always intended to study medicine. That's what I wanted to do when I was younger. But the opportunities in my country at the time couldn't allow me to study medicine. But I had a teacher who was a good mentor to me. That teacher advised me about different career opportunities that were there. And at the time, quantity surveying was one of those fields that was up and coming. And he advised me about the potential of that opportunity. And that is how I started to look at that area of study and got into quantity surveying in that way.
All right. Okay. So there you are, and as a graduate, what were your first responsibilities in your role when you took your first job as a QS?
When I was working as a quantity surveyor, my first job was with a company called Peter Richards and Partners in Zambia. So I worked as a project quantity surveyor. Peter Richards and Partners are a consultant, so I was working on behalf of the client. And my job was to make sure that the contractor was doing the work in the manner that was supposed to be doing it in a timely manner, and to essentially look after the commercial part of the project, look after payments, and make sure that we were paying a fair price to the contractor, but not overpaying so that the client was at a disadvantage. So I look after that bit of the project that I was looking after.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So I know you haven't. We'll come to that first. You haven't. You haven't been practicing as a quant surveyor for quite some time now, much as you are teaching it. So later on in years, did you see any changes in your profession, as it were? Probably after 2 or 3 years of your working as a QS.
I worked in Zambia as a quantity surveyor for about 2.5, 3 years before I came to the UK. When I came to the UK, which was in 2003, I worked as a quantity surveyor and as an estimator in the UK for about 7 years.
Right.
And I worked with different companies at that point in different capacities before I obviously transitioned onto academia.
Right. Okay. So looking at this, what challenges have you had to overcome? Particularly when you came here in the UK, you took up that position as a quantity surveyor. What were the major challenges that you faced when you first joined here and took your first job in the UK?
I think the first ones were adjusting to a new environment. I think coming to the UK presented different cultural challenges, in a sense, trying to understand how society in general worked. That was one that I needed to adapt to and learn how people viewed life here in the UK, and at the same time trying to maintain the identity of who I am as a Zambian, as an African, and as a Christian. I think that was the first challenge that I perhaps saw coming here. And that took a while. I think it's not one thing that you get over in one day. It's a learning journey. But I think also professionally, it was also trying to ensure that, my qualification and my experience was recognized here. And that's the first thing that you will always ask when you're looking for a job. Have you got relevant experience? Have you got the qualifications? Does your qualification from a Zambian university transfer to a UK industry? So those were the first things that you needed to be able to break ground through in terms of trying to enter the career market here.
Right. Okay, that's very good. So before we proceed, probably let's finish up with your academic, qualification. You came to the UK, and there you are, and now you are Dr. Valentah Manase. Let's add those pieces in between there. You came to the UK and then started working, and then you, I guess, you went to started studying to do your masters and followed by a PhD. If you can give us a summary of that, please.
Okay. Well, when I was leaving Zambia to come here to the UK, my uncle said to me, when you go to the UK, don't just sit there. Build up yourself and develop yourself, and when we came to the UK, it was never to stay here, but it was to try and study. So that advice from my uncle really spurred me on. So about 3 years or so after we had been in the UK, I started to do my MBA, my Master's in Business Administration, at what then was called University of Central England, UCE. So I started to study my MBA, and I did that for 3 years while I was working part. So I did it on a day release. I had to negotiate with my then employer to allow me to go to university to do my master's for 1 day a week, one afternoon a week, which was usually a Monday afternoon from 2 o'clock until 9 o'clock in the night. So I did that for 3 years and completed that. And after I'd completed it, maybe about 2 or 3 years after I'd completed that master's, I then moved into academia and found a job as a lecturer at Glasgow Caledonia University. And because I was in academia now, I was very much aware that, my master's degree was sort of like an entry level into academia. So I worked with Glasgow Caledonian University for about 3 years again, after which my then line manager then told me of the opportunity to study for my professional doctorate, which was a BBA, and I started to study that. So I just recently then finished my doctorate in business administration. Yeah.
Well done, well done. That's brilliant. You know, it's it's not an easy thing actually to study, do your masters with a family, and then you've got a husband, and then you've got a job. It's not a very good combination, you know. So I applaud you for doing that, you know. So
No, it's not. It's been an uphill journey, but I have to say, I couldn't have done this without my husband's support, because all the way through, my husband has always been behind me. And there have been many times when I just felt, look, this is getting too much. And he's always said, look, you can do this. You know, we can do this. And he's always been there to support me in various ways, whether it's academically or just being able to give me the support that I needed to be able to juggle, you know, the responsibilities in the home as well as study, whether it's being a sounding board for the different things that I'm going through, you know, my ideas, giving me advice. He has been my rock really in everything that I have done. I really would not have done this without him. And he has encouraged me when I was, you know, really discouraged, and given me the impetus to carry on. So this is as much my success as it is his, really, to a great extent. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, you have quite a very supportive husband, because many people would have just actually walked out, you know. So if your husband would not support, and then you feel you're actually overwhelmed with the schoolwork and everything going around, you know. So some people would just walk out. So I applaud your husband as well. He's a very supportive husband. Yeah.
Definitely. He's a one of a kind. He's been a brilliant partner and a friend and a help in that sense. Yes, definitely.
Very good. Now, so what are you proudest of in your career so far?
In my career, I think my doctorate, being the most recent achievement, is my proudest achievement. I think it was a difficult one, because, as you said, I have 3 young children. I have a 6-year-old daughter, I've got a 10-year-old son, and I've got a 17-year-old son. And they've always you know, needed me, and to be able to take care of them and do this as well as hold down a full-time job has been quite demanding. So I'm really proud of myself for seeing this through and getting that doctorate. Yeah. So that is my proudest achievement at the moment. Yeah.
Very good. So, who has been the biggest influence on your life? You know, and what lesson did that person actually teach you? I know you mentioned about your uncle. You know. So, do you, apart from your uncle, do you have any other person that's been, you know, a major influence, the biggest influence actually in your life?
I think through my life journey, I've had different people that have influenced me at different stages of my life. My uncle, the late Maurice Yamuzwe, obviously has been a great inspiration in my life. My husband, David Manase, has also been a great inspiration in my life. There was a particular woman as well that I worshipped with. Her name is Jennifer Oroko. She lives in Kenya. She has been a mentor to me in life, as well as in career, as well as in my spiritual life. So I think that is one person that I can point to that has been an inspiration as well in my life, in different stages and different phases of life. Yeah.
Right. That's good. So who has been the kindest to you in your life so far?
Oh gosh.
I know we face a lot of rough people out there, but I know you can pick 1 or 2 people you can point, and I think this one's been so kind to me.
Am I allowed to say my husband again?
Oh yes.
Yeah, I think absolutely my husband has been that person for me. He is my best friend, and he's always there for me in my worst moments and in my best moments. I think I can always count on him to see me, to be there for me in whatever circumstance that I face. So I think my husband is definitely tops there. Yeah.
Right. Okay, that's good. So, what are the most important lessons that you have learned so far in life? I know you've had a very successful, academic passage to life, employment and so forth. So, what have you learned so far that you can point that I think this life of education, this life of employment has taught me this? What could be, some of those things, please?
I think the one thing that I have learned is that if you're determined, you can do anything. I'm an orphan. My parents died when I was quite young. My mom died, as I said, when I was 8, and my dad died when I was 16. And so life hasn't always been easy for me, but I think I've always aimed to do the very best that I can with whatever opportunity that I find myself in. And so I think when you're going through life, you're always going to face challenges. But I think if you face it with an attitude of, you know what, I can do this, and determination, and with God by your side, I think you can always get through any situation if you believe in yourself, and perhaps having people around you that can encourage you and support you is another thing that I have learned. In a lot of circumstances, we may be dealt a lot of negatives in life, but we also have control over the choices that we make and where we decide to go with our lives. So that's one thing that I have learned. There'll always be naysayers in life. There'll always be people who will doubt you in life. But if you have that self-belief to get you through circumstances, you will get there. You will get there.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. So, when in life have you felt most alone?
When have I felt most alone? I think I felt quite alone when I was a teenager, when I was 16, because at that time, I think when I was 16, my dad had passed away, and I needed that guidance, I suppose, in that time. And I think that is the time when I felt the most alone, I could say, in my life. I think that's one time that I felt the most alone.
Right. Okay. So, if you were to hold on to some memory from your life forever, what could that be?
The birth of my children.
Right. Good.
I think those would be the memories that I would treasure the most. Each one of them was unique and different. So my children are my greatest memories, and there's so many incidences that I can hold on to, but each one of them has been special in many ways.
Yeah. Right. That's good. So, talking about your children, do you like traveling, and which places have been your best places that you have visited so far? Maybe on vacation or holiday, or just a day out, with children. Which are some of the places you've visited? You feel they are very, very, very good, and you could probably recommend for somebody to go and visit.
Yeah, we do love to travel and explore different places. Funny enough, the places that I would recommend someone to go to and I would love to go to is quite near to us, the north of Scotland, in the Highlands of Scotland. They are beautiful. The Highlands of Scotland are some of the most beautiful areas in the world that I have ever traveled to. I would recommend them to anybody. Pick a good day. The weather is not always great in Scotland, as you probably would know, but if you pick a good day and you go to the Highlands of Scotland, it will blow your breath away. I think we took a 3-hour drive up in the north of Scotland, and we kept on stopping because there are valleys, there are plateaus, there are mountains, there are rivers to be able to see there, and you see the world's best view of life. I think it's beautiful up there. That's where I would definitely like to go.
Brilliant. I can agree to that.
Yeah. Have you been there?
I've been there so many times, actually. Fort William, we like camping at Fort William, just on the shore of Lake Lynn. So we camp there and sometimes spend a week there and then drive around, Scotland, go to Isle of Skye and all those areas around Inverness, Yeah, and visit some other islands like the Iona, Island of Moore. We have been to all those islands, all those Hebrides islands. Yes.
Yeah, you probably traveled more than we have then.
It's one of the beautiful places that we have visited. There is a place similar to that actually in Canada, which is in Alberta.
Right.
Yeah, they call them as well actually. In the Bluff in Canada, it's similar to that. Beautiful scenery actually. So when we drive through the A82 road down to Fort William.
Yes.
Very breathtaking scenery there.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. And you keep on stopping and you come back with your camera full because you've taken so many photos that just take your breath away.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Dr. Valentah, do you associate with a religious group or religious practice in your life that has actually propelled you to be who you are? Or it's just been a matter of lucky that you're a hard worker person, So, do you have any religious inclination of some kind?
I am a Christian. I am a Seventh-day Adventist Christian. I would not be who I am without God in my life. I think God is the center and the strength of my life. He is the person that gives me direction. He is the person I can go to in my weakest moments. I know I've said my husband is always by my side, but God is always my strength. He is always my hope. When I have lost hope, when I have been desperate, even times when you were asking me about whether at the point I was loneliest, God has been the one that has seen me through. From the point when I was young, my mother always taught me to pray, to trust in God, to have that relationship with God. And I was raised in a Christian family, and that has shaped the person that I am, my principles, my values, the things that I aspire to, the hopes that I have, the dreams that I have. They're all centered in what God has done and can do in me. I know that I can do all things only with God by my side. It's not about me. It's about what God has enabled me to do and the opportunities He's created for me.
Excellent. That's good. So, if you were to be, remembered, what would actually those people related to you or associated to you, what would they remember about you when the time has come that you are, to go and rest and the people are now gathering, what do you think people would be, what would you think people would be remembering you about?
I'm hoping and I pray that people will remember me as a faithful Christian, as a person who showed love and who cared for those around her. I have a passion for the youth and young people and trying to motivate and encourage those that are young, because I have perhaps experienced what life can be like as a youth and not having somebody to help you or guide you and support you at certain times.
Exactly.
So I have a passion for young people. I have been involved in children's ministries and education ministry with trying to help young people with their careers, with decisions in life. And my capacity as a lecturer and a program leader, I see myself helping young people still shape their lives and better their lives. And I hope that when I am gone, people will remember me for that as well. And I think for my family and for my friends, I hope that they can remember me as someone who was there to help them and who they could depend on and who could help them. Yeah.
Excellent. So, do you have any regrets so far in life?
I think I'm one person who's always tough on myself. I'm always very critical of myself. I think the regrets that I may have in my life is not spending enough time to enjoy moments. I think there are times when I'm constantly trying to achieve, trying to finish this, trying to complete that. So I think the thing that I learn and I'm trying to do better in my life is to enjoy the moments, little and big moments, because if you don't, then life passes you by and you don't see the value of what you have.
Right. Okay, so you mentioned that you've got a passion actually for the young people, so that they can at least have a direction of some kind in life, And this is actually the purpose of this program, this interview, why we are doing it, is to shape, those young people who are underprivileged, who have got probably no direction at all, particularly in refugee camps, or coming from broken homes, and they've got maybe they've just been raised up by a single parent and so forth, So what would be your advice actually to a young person who is trying to begin in your profession as either a quantity surveyor or obviously not as a lecturer, yes, as a quantity surveyor first of all? What would that advice be to the beginner in the field?
I think my advice first and foremost would be for as a young person. Generally, I have a son who is 17, and I can relate to some of the pressures that he is going through, and I can assume that lots of young people experience that. There's a lot of peer pressure around you, and that peer pressure can drive you towards things that you don't perhaps intend to do. But because of that peer pressure, as a young person, you can find yourself doing things that would perhaps not be the best for you. My advice is to try and associate yourself with people who will encourage you, and be brave enough to stand on your own and make your own decisions in life. It's not going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. But over time, you will see that it becomes easier. And as you make the right decisions for yourself, you'll start to draw the right kind of friends to yourself. If you know who you are, get to understand who you are, then that will help you to define who you are in life. And you will then get the right circle of friends and people to advise you. If you're going to go into quantity surveying is a field of study that offers so many opportunities. A lot of people think of quantity surveyors as people who work on a construction site that is outside and it's cold and it's dirty and it's muddy and all of those things. But quantity surveying offers so many opportunities. You can work as a contractor, as quantity surveyor. You can work as a consultant, quantity surveyor. You can work in the bank. You can work in different fields. You can work in civil engineering and mechanical engineering. You can work in general construction. So there's so many opportunities there. And as long as there's a construction industry, the quantity surveyor is always going to be in demand. So I would say if you're going to be a quantity surveyor, focus on subjects like mathematics and English to try and get into quantity surveying. Those are the areas that perhaps you will need to have strength in terms of trying to get into quantity surveying.
Right. Okay, brilliant. That's good. So, Dr. Manase, what are your passions and how did you get started with it? I guess you have got some passion of certain things, and how did you get started with it?
In terms of my hobbies, do you mean?
Oh, yes, yeah, hobbies, yes.
All right, okay. I like to travel, which is one thing we've kind of touched on already. I like to explore different places. I like to sing. That's another one another one of my hobbies. I started singing when I was probably about 6 years old with my mother. She taught me the love for singing and for music, and I've carried it on in my adulthood, and I'm trying to get my children to sing as well. I like to read. That's another one of my hobbies. I like to watch movies and to listen to music. And I've recently learned that I enjoy painting. over this lockdown period. So
Right.
that's another one of those hobbies that I've developed. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I know. I know. Lockdown has brought out, has actually fished out a lot of hidden things from people's lives. You know. So.
That's right. That's right. So I found that I am quite artistic in that sense. I've done some paintings for the house. I've done a family tree on the wall that we're trying to teach our children about their family history.
Right.
All of that has happened because of lockdown. Yeah.
Brilliant.
But I think I'm a very outdoor person. I like to go out. I like to visit new places. I like to go on mountain walks. That's another one that I've just tried to explore a lot more of during this lockdown. So yeah.
Very good. Very good. That's brilliant. So what has been your happiest time in your adult life so far, and why?
Apart from my children being born and raising my children, I think there's so many times when God has blessed me and I've seen so many happy moments. Happiest moment was when I was told that I had completed my degree, my doctorate, and I had passed. It took me 7 years to get my doctorate completed, and when I did my viva, which is the exam that you do to defend your doctorate, I had a very, very tough examiner who kind of really examined me quite critically. So when I was told that I had passed, I think that was the happiest moment. I felt like a big weight had fallen off my shoulders.
I can attest to that. I had a vibe. I've just finished doing my master's program in cybersecurity engineering.
Oh wow! Congratulations.
Yeah, I had a very, very tough viva and a very tough chain of lecturers who actually, those are professors who are computer professors, really, really grilled me to the core. But I felt, this was the end of my life,
Yeah, I know what you mean. You feel like as if you're really under the microscope, and for you to actually come out of there and someone say, "Yeah, you've done it, you're done." Yeah. I think I actually cried, and my director of studies said to me, "Why are you crying? Why are you upset? You've done it. You've finished it."
Tears of joy.
I think so. Yeah.
That's good. So now, on the scale of 0 to 10, how weird are you?
I think I'm 8.
8, Right. So what makes you think you're 80? You're weird by 8. 8 points.
I think I'm weird by 8 points because maybe the things that spur me on, the things that that inspire me may be different from maybe the typical person in terms of what perhaps encourages and inspires people and what they find interesting maybe. I probably have been a bookworm for most of my life. So that probably might come out as weird to some people.
Right, excellent. Yeah, so hey, guys, today we have just been speaking to Dr. Valentah Manase, who is a very successful, person, career woman. She's a mother and she's a wife. She's a lecturer and one of the best universities in Scotland. So I hope, guys, you're going to pick a leaf out of her experiences to help you move forward with at least give you some direction in your lives. So Dr. Valentah, thank you so much actually for joining us today and for accepting to be actually the first woman to be interviewed in our program.
Oh wow. Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure being here, and I hope somebody will be inspired